Hello everyone, welcome to this week's At the Table. Boy, do I have issues. Too many issues. And is it hot? Now, where should I start from? Today, I think the best place for me to start is one incident I just went through. Or should I say, I won't say I went through, but one issue. I'm sure everyone knows that there's a shortage of housing in the United Kingdom, and why that is, well, I don't know, maybe too many people. Why that is, well, we don't know. Only they know. Now, I was walking past a block of flats, high-rises. I think they actually council-owned, and they were tearing them down, and I was quite surprised because I was like, oh, what's happening here? And it turned out I saw the construction guys, some of the builders, they were outside, and I've asked, what's going on here? They told me, oh, they're taking the buildings down, and they're going to build, I don't know what it is they're going to build there, but then they told me that they're only going to take one down and the other one's not coming down yet. I was like, okay, fair play, maybe it's your protocol. Only to find out that out of the whole, it should be about, I think, I don't know, 100 flats or whatever it is, only one person was left in it, a single person, and they chose not to sell. They did not want to sell for whatever price it was that was offered to them. They said, no, I will not settle for that. So I asked, oh, okay, well, is it because, is it their home, it's been their home for so long, or they're just trying to be, you know what I mean, difficult? Then it turns out they were offered a certain amount. I think the flats themselves, they're worth, well, not so much. I don't know in your area how much they cost. I think it should be about 200,000. And they were offered something in the lines of, if I remember correctly, around £300,000, but they refused it. They were offered a further 340 or 250,000 pounds. Still, they refused it. And I'm like, oh, okay, fair play. And to my belief, that's like 150 or 240,000 pounds above market price. I don't know about you, but 140,000 pounds in this day and age is a lot of money. Most people would think, I'll take that. I'm sure you'd understand. But bearing in mind, this is a person who's lived there God knows how many years. Whether it's a good place or it's a bad place or whatever it is, but they've lived there for so many years. Do you think they have the right to, first of all, ask a person to leave where they already were existing for years and years, or ask them to buy them out? Do you think it's right? And if you do, what are your views on it? I personally think, well, if you bought it, it's yours. You can do whatever you want with it. And it so turns out that this person who owns that single flat, who's holding them up, turned around and actually said he wants 3 million. 3 million pounds. You're 3 million pounds. I was like, whoa, hang on. But to be fair, I'm actually with this guy. I am actually for him. Because think of it, how he's going to be so disrupted, how he's going to have to move, how he's going to have to change everything, surroundings. It's going to be a change in his life. So what figure actually can settle this? I think 3 million pounds is, I think it's a bit cheeky, to be honest, a bit cheeky. But I mean, fair play. If he gets it, fair play. Do you know what I mean? They say, if you don't try, you'll never get. But anyway, saying that, that's one of the issues. I'd like to hear, what issues do you have in your area to do with housing? Because we know they're there. Come on, let's not lie to each other, guys. We know there is a housing crisis. So if you got people who've been affected, or if you're being affected, let us know. This is normal stuff. Normal stuff we should be able to talk about without a problem. Right, moving on. I'm sure most of us know that there is a bit of a story going on. We mentioned a bit of it like last week, but we didn't go too much into detail about all of this in our last episode. So it is the man himself, Wiley. The man himself. If anybody has been following this, they would know that Wiley went on where's Wiley? Do you know what I mean? Wiley went on a rant about Jewish people and all of this without explaining. He just went off on Twitter, just going off. And with everything going on now, with Black Lives Matter, White Lives Matter, Dog Lives Matter, I mean, everything matters. Let's just put it this way. So he went on and he thought this is the perfect time to speak, about Jewish people. He went on, everyone was so surprised, and it turns out he had an interview. Bear in mind, this is Wiley. He got given an award, didn't he, by Prince William? Is it an OBE? Something like that. I think MBE. Is it MBE? Something like that, for his services to music. He's considered the grime godfather of grime. Do you know what I mean? And this was actually on Sky News. And he didn't do himself any favors. Truthfully, he did not do himself any favors. Because what it turned out that the story is about his manager. His manager is actually Jewish. So this was a guy who was venting his personal issues on the race, basically. Oh, sorry, not race, religion. He took it upon himself to like go against the religion, not race, religion. Got to watch my words here. So he took his personal issue and made it into a big issue. How do you feel about when people are emotional and they just go out there and they use tools that, without thinking really what the consequences can be and what the impact may be? When Wiley came out on the interview, he said he wasn't racist, which, to be fair, with the explanation I understand, it's not a racial thing from what he said. These are his words, by the way. That's why we're going with race the first time. These are his words. He said, I'm not racist. And he went on to act so agitated. I mean, my guy was like proper vexed. I mean, like, he was not having it. He was like, listen, I'm 40. I should know this. He was proper erratic. I mean, I don't know anything. Who am I to judge? I mean, I concluded something out of this anyway, out of watching this. I was a bit like, I get it. He's really angry. He said he's been ill-treated by certain people who are part of his team. These are his team, part of his team. And then instead of just making it like my team, he went to the religion side of it, which I personally don't think that's right. If they were your team from the beginning, it's still your team. Whether they're Jewish, they're Christian, they're Muslim, they're any religion, they're still your team. You don't then start choosing to call them whatever they are just because you've had a dispute. That's my view. He was totally wrong, and that's me. Listen, that's me. You might have your views, but this is what I think. He then went further to mention that he does not even have his own MBE in his house. Jeez! That was given to him, solely to him, by, of course, Prince William. I mean, what does that say from the beginning? Before he exploded to all of this. If you are awarded an award and it's not even in your own house, you do not even have it yourself. I mean, it's for you, right? He said it was actually at his promoter side. Well, allegedly. It's allegedly his is it his promoter? It's his manager. His manager had it in his house on his wall. And I was like, whoa, that's a bit much. You know what I mean? So now it brought me to a certain way of doing things that a lot of people have faced in the music industry, which is like how managers have a hold on their artists and how they try to keep them with them by controlling certain issues. So, and Wiley is the godfather of grime. Let's not forget this. He's the godfather of grime. Contracts, right? Makes you ask yourself, what did the contract say? Was it fair? I personally think there's something going on there in that contract. I don't know what the contract was, but I personally think there's something going on. One, we all know, like I said, issues with artists, their managers, how they, record labels, how they try to keep control of artists, their music, how they make it difficult for artists to break through. And then how they squeeze them so much by these contracts. Do you think that maybe there should be a music industry regulations team that watches all these kind of things, that can watch over this? Well, I'm sure there is, but this can make or break a person. And a lot of these things, I've heard too much of it, and what it's taught me is that no matter how good you are, no matter how you are the pioneer, you know what I mean? You might be the top, you know what I mean? The top dandada, I mean like 50 Cent of the, you know what I mean? I mean like, who can we say? Who else? Bill Gates of the industry. If you start off without owning your stuff, it will never be yours. End of. Because at some stage, no matter where you will be, no matter how big you will be, you will still be brought down to reality. To say, oh, hang on, sorry, you are totally not there. And you are nothing without this. And that's purely because if you did not have control of whatever you started doing, your contract, if you weren't really paying attention, if you weren't really looking towards those kind of things, you still won't have control of it, which would mean you might be the godfather of grime, as we can see. And then in the end, it will all end or start crumbling. So anyway, this is again, Wiley, he was sat there, he was so upset. It didn't show a good image of himself. He was because he's so emotional, he was even getting so emotional with the guy who was interviewing him. And even I was like, on the street, he's talking, he looked a bit like he's been through a lot, whether it's like his early days or whatever. He looked like he's having a bit of a mental break somewhere there, which is normal. I mean, the stress and everything, the emotions all together. He looked like that's all happening. But we've seen a lot of this. This happens a lot in these slave contracts. We've got Taylor Swift, like we mentioned. We've got Ice Cube. We've got Britney Spears. That can run a person to the ground. So, I mean, if there are any artists out there who are facing these issues, please, we'd like to hear from you. I'd love to hear from you. Hit me up. Subscribe, come on, follow, hit me up. I'm easy to find. I'm here. Look at me. I'm here at the table. 100%. There's loads to discuss. Okay. Issues. Like I told you, we have issues this week. Plenty of issues. The other one would say is people's gender, sexual orientation, ethnicity, culture, and religion. 5 categories. That's gender, sexual orientation, ethnicity, culture, and religion. At the moment, I feel that because again we have Black Lives Matter happening, we've got coronavirus happening, people are emotional, we've got people trying to change things, we've got people who are forcibly being made to change when they were not ready to change. I feel like there's a lot of confusion going on right now in the world between all of these criteria. For instance, again, like I just mentioned, Wiley spoke of an issue and it turned into religion, and then it was slightly mixed with racism, with race. So it's like confusing times at the moment where people are just confusing what is what goes with what, and what is actually being spoken of at the moment. I saw I think it's a meme. There's loads of memes and all sorts of stuff going on you see on the internet or online. And this was about the Bible. I know, the Bible. This was about the Bible, yeah? It was in the Bible. Something about God had 99, I don't know, Jesus or something. I'm not really like good with verses and stuff like that. Put my hands up. So this was something about Jesus had 99 sheep and no, he had 100 sheep. Sorry, he had 100 sheep and one of them disappeared. It just wandered off. And his suggestion, in fact, he strongly said, I don't know if this was, before I go further, I don't know if this was somebody's way of justifying something or not, but this is what I said. It was like 100 sheep, one got lost. And Jesus said, forget about the 99, let's go find the one that's wandered off and that's lost. And they said, this verse is in the Bible. I was like, oh, I didn't know that. Okay, fair play. You learn something every day. And he said, let's leave the 99. The 99, not that the 99 don't matter, but he said that let's go find that one that's wandered off because that is as important as the 99. When I read this, I was like, oh, okay, I get it. And then they used at the bottom. So when people are speaking of Black Lives Matter, they're not trying to say white lives don't matter at all as well. They're only trying to say we have one that's left out. And we need to find it so that it's together with the other 99. That was the explanation at the bottom. I was like, oh, okay. Well, fair play. I mean, hey, they sold it to me. They sold it to me. Forget about me, obviously, but they sold it to me. My mind, they sold it to my mind. Because I thought, okay, that's a good way of explaining it. Because it's not about really the black or the white or the pink or the green. But it's about what matters. I took this very I kept this. I'm not gonna lie, I kept this. I was like, okay. Out of all the explanations I've seen about Black Lives Matter, why people are doing this, why that, everybody has had debate. I've had debates with my closest friends. I mean, from all ethnicities. We've had chats and we were on the same page. Some of them we actually discovered some of our personal views. You know what I mean? And they're all right. We're still all right. We're friends. Hey, so all my friends, don't worry, we're still friends. But yeah, going back to that, but of all the quotations, what do you think? What do you guys think? The fact that obviously I'm not like, you might not be Christian, and yet they used something from the Bible. Would you relate to it even if you're not Christian? Is there something that you would say, you know what, I'm not Christian, but I do relate to that understanding? Or would you say, no, I do not relate to that because that is not my religion? What are your views? I related to it, but, well, I'm not 100% Christian. I'm not any religion. Or maybe am I? But I took it purely with my mind, not with my religion. Again, the reason why I found this interesting was because I thought, yeah, people are confusing a lot of things. Gender, sexual orientation, ethnicity, culture, and religion. Moving on to sexual orientation, I feel like there's a lot of gay pride. For instance, I think that's supposed to be this week, isn't it? This week. People feel free to be expressing themselves because they have a certain sexual preference. I mean, that's people. People are free to express themselves. But people will be judged. We know that in this world, there's nothing you can ever do without being judged. I bet some of you are judging me now. That's all right. I'm here. That's fine. But yeah, people find it quite amusing to judge because of all sorts of things. Do you think it is right to judge a person because of their preferences? And how does a person's preferences affect you? How do they actually impact you as a person in your life? Someone's sexual preferences who is not even involved in your life. Have you ever thought of that? And if you have, I I have, and I mean, I'm the type of person, if I'm not comfortable with something, I say, you know what, I'm not comfortable with that. That's you, that's fine, hey, it's no problem. But sorry, I'm not comfortable with that, and that's fine. I just speak out. Everyone's free to speak. Just like if I'm allowed to speak out and say, I don't like that, somebody else should be allowed to speak out and say, they like that. That's my view. Take it as you want it. But yeah, what's your view? Have you had these thoughts? I want to know, have you thought of it really? Can you actually think of it? Can you discuss it? Well, if you can, you know where I am. So if you have thought of these things as well, make a comment, leave a comment. It's so important. Your views matter. It does not matter if somebody else does not like your view, but your view matters. Okay. Next thing is culture. Culture. I'm from a different culture totally. I've learned to accept. I'm African. I've learned to accept that there's certain things that you can do as an African, and you think, yeah, that's quite normal. But certain people can look at you and think, what is that about? What the hell? But for you, it's like, come on, that's normal. One of the things are like, Africans, they speak loud. They are loud. Do you know what I mean? I'm loud. I mean, sometimes, well, I'm not really loud, but when I'm on the phone, I've learned to accept that when I'm on the phone, whenever I'm speaking to somebody who's not African, I'm speaking a different language, good monotone, everything's all right. But then the moment that friend of mine picks up the phone, rings me, and I say hello, I'm like, oh, Gapi, you see? My voice is already raised. And we tend to do that in public, Africans. We just speak, we forget like there's people around us. Are we making too much noise for others? What's happening? Are we disrupting the whole room? What are we doing? We just tend to be like blasé about the whole thing. And how do you feel? Do you feel that it's okay to express your culture? I mean, it being 20th century and everything, and us living in the United Kingdom, it's a multicultural country. Is it okay? Why do people still find it offensive that other people speak other language in front of them if they don't understand? Anybody else from any country can speak. I mean, you see an Italian guy who can and stuff like that, and people will be like, okay, that's nice, that's a good language. And they'll be happy. They'll be, oh, that's nice. And Italians speak loud, but certain people take a liking to it more than other cultures. In fact, one of the things that's confused is ethnicity and culture. We'll say ethnicity is basically, what is it, ethnicity? Ethnicity is your ethnic background, where you're from. And your culture is like what your practices. Like, for instance, you're from Africa, your culture is what? African culture. Ethnicity will be probably your country. Break it down now to wherever exactly it is you are from Africa or Europe or Asia, those kind of places. And it's easy to confuse that because you can get people who are not necessarily a certain color. They could be even Caucasian, but then they're African. They could be Caucasian and they're Jamaican. They could be Caucasian and they're Asian. You can get that. So there are all of those things that people are confused about and people don't really speak of or want to understand, or maybe have not really taken time to go deep into it. We want to discuss them. We are going to discuss them. Leave your comments. We want to hear your feedback. You are so important. You are gonna tell us what you think, and that's gonna change my view of things. I want to know what the world thinks. I want to know what people out there are thinking, and what moving forward, how this world is gonna transform into after all of these things happening. Issues. This week's table, as I mentioned, issues. I mean, I'm hot right now. It's so hot. The whole day, it's been so hot. I have not been able to breathe properly. That's an issue. You must understand, that's an issue. But how did you handle today? Did you have a good day? It's been like, I think it must have been like 30 34, 35 max today. Did you enjoy it? What did you do with your time? I know I did. If there's anything you like on this, like the video. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe, because we are gonna be discussing a lot of issues and a lot of good things and a lot of mixed things. Come, we want to see you. We want to see your comments right below. Right, another issue that has been going on for the past couple of weeks. I think it's 2 weeks. I don't know if everybody, well, I'm sure you have. You've heard the story about Megan Thee Stallion and Tory Lanez. Yes, I said it. Tory Lanez and Megan Thee Stallion. Relationships, you know what I mean? Relationships. What do you do with relationships? Whew. So, police turn up at Tory Lanez's house, somewhere in America there, and there's a call of shooting. And it turns out Megan Thee Stallion got shot in her feet. Yep. Tory Lanez, Megan. No, if you know exactly what took place, please comment again, let us know. But it says she got shot in her feet. So whether it's one foot or both feet got shot while she was at Tory's house. Nobody has mentioned if Tory shot her. She hasn't mentioned yet, but there's an investigation, and they have actually started a petition to get Tory Lanez deported back to Canada. Because one, well, obviously that's violence. Nobody, you can't be a role model who's depicting violence. And again, he's been, I think it was due to have a few featurings in some albums, and they've dropped him. They've dropped him because one, female, him, the way it is, basically says it for itself. I mean, the fact that Megan came out and she spoke on online, and she spoke about how she's okay and everything, but she has not mentioned exactly what took place, who shot her, things that are just straightforward. Like, I mean, if you're in a place, obviously she's saying Tory, she didn't mention. So what do you do when you're in situations like that? It's your partner. Things have gone that far that you start shooting each other, and then you can't say, or you don't say, what do you think should happen? But then you can come out and say, I'm fine, and speak of the people trolling you on the internet and all of this. So emotional. And even 50 Cent, well, apologized. He never apologizes. He apologized to say, oh, I thought it was a game. He even said, oh, I'm sorry, and that never happens. I mean, hey, Megan, take it, accept it. This is 50. He said, I'm sorry. It never happens. If you see that again, hey, please let me know. So anyway, what should she do? She should speak out the truth. Should she not? Is she not speaking because she's trying to protect Tory? But then why should she protect Tory when he shot her during the time? I mean, it's a bit of a twist here. Again, is this true? What really took place? Is something being hidden? Why are we following this? Why is this part of our news? Why should it be? Why are we even focusing on it? I'll tell you why we're focusing on it. We're focusing on it because these things happen in real life. We don't have to wait for somebody who's really big for them to go through something like that for us to say, you know what, I know that. I know a situation like that, but we don't have to. Certain things like that happen. They happen. We want to hear your views. If she was to say what took place, is she a rat? Is she a snitch? She got harmed? So if she is to tell and say exactly what took place, would people consider her a snitch? Or would people think, oh, hang on, you're not loyal in your relationship? Loyalty, again, the word comes into play, loyalty. What does it mean? Loyalty to who? Should she be first loyal to herself before she's loyal to someone else? Because loyalty, I think, is kind of like truthfulness, isn't it? It's kind of like something that's truthful and something that's love. Yeah, that's it. There you go. Love. Yeah, loyal. Love. It has to be a base of love. So if somebody shoots you, do they love you? Question. If somebody shoots you, do they love you? Some people will say, yeah, I love you damn much. That's why. That's why I'm acting like this. I love you so much. We know we've heard this a lot. I'm acting crazy because I love you. Anyway, that's another issue. It's so much. I want to hear. I don't know. Sometimes I don't have time to go into all of this, but I want to hear what you know so that I can know, and then we all will know. Yeah? Well, on this note, I want to leave you with something. Did you know that a lot of people in this world love dolphins? I know dolphins, they're lovely, innit? It's like they see dolphins, everyone's like, oh, I love it. Oh, look at them, beautiful. When you go on holiday, you end up in the sea and you see the dolphins. It's like a magical moment, isn't it? Everyone says, oh, I want to go swim with the dolphins. One thing I want to do in my life is swim with the dolphins before I die. It's on my bucket list, you know? And I think it's very nice. Even in Asia, I think, it's in Thailand, whenever they fish, they say wherever you see dolphins, there's loads of fish. So it's a good thing. I was watching a program actually, just the other day. They had a pink dolphin. I was like, gosh, what the heck? I was like, it's a cartoon, and it was actually pink. But it was kind of like a dolphin that's mixed with. It's like a mammal dolphin, but actually bigger than the normal dolphin, and that's somewhere in Thailand, off the coast of Thailand, somewhere there. And they start off grey. As they're getting older, they shed into a pink dolphin. So they were showing like how these dolphins, if they see the dolphins, that's like a sign for them to say, oh, there's fish. So they cast their nets there and they get a good fish. They get good fish and plenty of fish. Okay, my story anyway is, did you know that in the 1960s, there was actually a person, oh sorry, that's all right, they're not looking for me, it's all right. Did you know that in the 1960s, there was a person who actually had relations with a dolphin? Yes, I said it, you heard it here. Relations with a dolphin. I was like, what? It took me by surprise. I was like, what you talking about? I was like, nah, get out of here. You're chatting. So yeah, it took place. And this was an experiment in the 1960s where NASA was actually part of this. It turns out there was LSD. They were feeding LSD to the dolphin. And there's money, loads of money in there. Well, obviously it's NASA. Do you know what I mean? Of all people, I never knew that NASA was involved with this. So I was even taken back. There was a lady. Her name was, what's her name? Lovett. The last name was Lovett. Lavar. That was her last name, Lavar. Could be wrong, but it was. Actually, I'll double check. It was. And it turned out, yeah, it was Margaret. It's Margaret Lavar. It was actually Margaret Lavar. And it turned out she relations with the dolphin. On that note, I want you to check that out. Leave your comments below. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And next week, we're going to be talking about the results of the final. Peace.